Well, what a great place it is to go motor racing. The great state of Victoria. There's so much culture and things to see in this part of the world. And just a couple of hours drive from the middle of the great city of Melbourne. We're down at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. You can get most of this on the way down here. Greg Rust has it in his rider to go and visit one fine winery and one fine dining restaurant every trip we go racing with Shannon's Speed Series. Nice to be with you for the first time today at this incredible venue and back with the Shannon's Speed Series for 2025. Richard Craill and Greg Rust to bring you Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge Australia. What a scene. It's got a special feeling about it, Rusty. Whenever you drive in here, drive along the back of the circuit, that tree line around 11 and 12, and Bass Straight pops into view. You look straight down Gardner Straight. The hair on the back of the neck goes up straight away. It's an incredible place to go car racing.
And those that have been able to come here and race over the years all react in the same fashion. Little wonder that the great team here at Phillip Island are able to have events like Superbikes and MotoGP here and to attract some of the world's best, because there's nothing like it really on the global calendar. This is Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge, qualifying about to get underway. And over summer, Rich, as you know, we've both had the chance to work over the ditch in New Zealand on some of their summer series. And there are, through this field, some red-hot young Kiwi racers who were picking our brains about what's the island like, what are we going to get, confronted with, and they've all, from all of them that I've seen yesterday, they're all smiling brightly at the thrill of getting the chance to drive around here.
Oh, and New Zealand is blessed to have some incredible racetracks, but few of them with the level of speed across a lap that this place produces. In fact, probably the closest one, unfortunately, was Pukekohe, which we no longer have. So this is a high average speed circuit, very, very fast in a Porsche GT3 Cup car. I cannot wait for this championship, Rusty, because the level of talent spread throughout this field impressively in our Michelin junior ranks in one-make Porsche racing is incredible. And the CVs that some of these drivers have developed at 17, 18, 19 years of age already is amazing. And they haven't even turned a lap in a Porsche yet.
And there's so much to live up to. You know the great history of this class. You've been intimately associated with it over the years. I mean, for one of them, maybe to go on and try and emulate the success of, say, a Matt Campbell, for example, perhaps to race for Porsche somewhere on the international stage. And the journey, it doesn't necessarily start here. Many of them have come through karting. Perhaps they've been stars in the 86 series, for example. But we get a real sense of how well they will cope with pressure right here. And you're talking about one of the finest run series in the country. Ultra close, very, very competitive, and the battle among the teams as well. We have world-class teams fronting here at Phillip Island for the opening round. Not just great drivers, great personnel behind the scenes too.
I think one of the great ads for this category, Rusty, happened at the opening round of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, where Harry Jones, the defending Carrera Cup champion, dominated. He won all three races. But in the Enduro Cup race on the Sunday morning at Sydney, the guy in second, Oscar Target, who was last year's Michelin Sprint Challenge champion. It's the first time in the history of one-make Porsche racing in Australia where the two national champions have finished 1 and 2 in a race. But if you're one of the young kids in this category, you go, well, hang on a minute, Oscar won this last year. If I win it this year, there's every reason I could expect to go into Carrera Cup and be competitive from the outset. And Carrera Cup's at a very, very high level. So that was great, not just for Oscar and what he achieved in this category last year, but for the drivers coming into it going, well, it's doable, it's achievable. There's a visible benchmark that I can achieve and try and get to.
It's not just a dream, that aspiration is very much a reality, yeah. And those two names that you've just rattled off there, very prominent in this class of racing here at Phillip Island this weekend. We'll no doubt catch up with Oscar Target, who's lending his knowledge, his expertise, if you will, and Harry Jones running cars in this class. 3-car race team, Harry Jones, ultimate high achiever, wins the Carrera Cup Championship, sets up his own Carrera Cup team to take over that program this year, and running a 3-car program in Michelin Sprint Challenge, including that car right there, the 888 of Ramu Farrell, who's in the Pro-Am class, but was quickest of everybody yesterday. Really impressive. And consistent so too.
Yeah. He will be a little dark horse this weekend. It's a spectacular field. This championship has a great history. It was founded in 2008 as an entry-level one-make Porsche racing class, and it has turned into the Super 2 to supercars for one-make Porsche racing in this part of the world. 23 cars on the grid, split throughout 3 classes, Pro and Pro-Am, as it is in Porsche Carrera Cup. Class B is for the older generation vehicles in the field, so the Gen 1 991 generation GT3 Cup car. So these are the cars that were in Carrera Cup up to 2002. They then get an opportunity to step back a level, and if you buy a car to run in Carrera Cup, you can run it for 4 years in Carrera Cup, and then you can run it for another 4 or 5 in Sprint Challenge. So it's a great way to get value out of your race car investment. All investment advice is advisory only. Please do not take the word of 2 commentators who don't know what they're talking about as official guidance.
Written, spoken and authorised by Richard Craill. We press on. 26.5 minutes remaining in this quali session. Half an hour. And I promise you, stick around as far as our coverage is concerned, because we're continuing to build. GT4 to come, GT3 as well. But this will be one of the most nail-biting sessions of the weekend. You can expect this to be ultra close, and there are stories throughout the field. Ryan Casher, who's come through 86, raced in TCR last year. He's a competitor in it. William Exton, who's just wrapped up the GT4 crown in New Zealand. He's had a pretty good day on Friday and has started this championship well. Tom Bewley, former 86 champion in New Zealand. He's going to maybe make a name for himself as he begins his journey in Australia from New Zealand.
Porsche had a fantastic one-make Sprint Challenge, GT3 Cup as it was in the day, in New Zealand. I think there's half an argument that we could call this Porsche Sprint Challenge New Zealand. Such is the depth of talent from that part of the world in it this year. We've got a great heritage of Kiwi racers in Porsche racing in this part of the world. The first Carrera Cup champion in Australia was Jim Richards. Craig Baird, the greatest of all time in one-make Porsche racing in this part of the world. So the list goes on. Johnny Reid was hugely successful, and Team Porsche New Zealand has been incredibly strong with Earl Bamber Motorsport in Sprint Challenge, first with Ryan Wood, who was runner-up in the championship a couple of years ago. Callum Hedge, who went into Carrera Cup, won that, and then has now forged a career in the United States. And EBM looking for a 3rd straight championship this year, if they can get it with young Tom Bewley, having won the title last year with Oscar Target. And they did the double because Lockie Harburg won the Pro-Am class last year and did it without winning a race. And he hates it when I mention that. It was the first time in, as far as I could tell, the history of one-make Porsche racing, like globally,
where that had happened,
anyone had won a class without actually winning a race. So I loved that for Lockie. He didn't like it so much. So he's got an absolute goal to win a race this year.
And whilst we've highlighted the Tasman feel of this, make no mistake, there are lots of Aussies that will want to ensure that this crown stays on Australian shores and does not go over the ditch. So that will be worth following. Jackson Rooney, who's a late addition to this class, has managed to stitch something together in recent time. He was a star rookie in 86 competition in New Zealand. He's currently the fastest with a 1:45.9, but we'll expect those times to come right down. Now, David Gregg is second at the moment in this session, but yesterday had to head off and with the company that he works for, speak at a memorial, a farewell, and unfortunately has taken no part in Friday practice. So he is literally just jumping into this cold, isn't he? So
he is, and Greggy's a veteran of the class. He's been around for a while, but the rules are that you must complete a lap in qualifying. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to start the race. So he's gone out very early and will push hard early, because if there's the potential of a stoppage or a delay and he can't get a lap, the rules are very strict that he won't be able to race. So Greggy needs to get a lap. Fortunately, he's been around a while. He knows all about one-make Porsche racing. Here's Lockie Bloxham, McElroy Racing, number 23. This is race meeting number 3 of a 14-round one-make Porsche campaign for Blocky this year. He's racing in Carrera Cup and Sprint Challenge. He's the first pro driver to do that. So it's all about getting laps and getting experience this year.
Marker to beat is Tom Bewley at the moment, 1:31.623, and he may be going on with it with the quickest first sector that we've seen. He has done a little bit of racing in the GT competition in recent time in New Zealand in a Porsche too, just to sort of get himself up to speed a bit for this season. And at one particular race at Hampton Downs, he launched away at the start, so much so that all of us in commentary thought it may have been a breach of start, and in fact he nailed it. He absolutely got it bang on perfect and made up a swag of spots at the start. So great young racer, comes from Hawke's Bay on the east coast of the North Island.
You're familiar with that part of the world?
I may know it a little bit.
Yeah.
I may know it a little bit. Ryan Casher on screen there at the moment. Down in 19th, but has got a personal best through the first sector. He switched from front-wheel drive Peugeot machinery and TCR last year to a Porsche, and he is thrilled to be a part of this. He really made his mark, didn't he, in 86 competition. Very much a professional young racer.
Replay down at turn 4. The artist formerly known as Honda, and that is Damien Flack, who is a familiar name in one-make Porsche racing in Australia, making a comeback this week, and a little cameo, he calls it, but he's been very competitive, and cameos have a knack of turning into full-time returns, I think, if you're competitive. So Damien is the dad of Marcus Flack, who was on the podium in Carrera Cup at the Australian Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, and he is the brother of Adrian Flack, who's the reigning two-time Pro-Am champion in Carrera Cup. So there are Flacks everywhere. Wouldn't want to stop some Flack, would you? No. Stubbsy, good morning in the lane.
Guys, speaking of champions, I've got our former champion, our reigning champion in Oscar Target here in Michelin Sprint Porsche Challenge. Oscar, we're missing you being out there. How does it feel to be on this side of the fence?
It's very different. Of course, I'd like to be on the track, but you know, we're here at Phillip Island, freezing cold, unfortunately. But yeah, good to be on the radio to my great mate Lockie Harburg and reigning Pro-Am champion. So hopefully we can get another championship this year, just without me driving.
There you go, mate. You've made the progression up to Carrera Cup. You've been in the cave, had a couple of races. How have you found it so far?
It's good. It's a step up from Sprint Challenge, definitely. I think from a pure talent point of view, the level in Sprint Challenge is very high. But, you know, last year there was probably only 3 or 4 of us at any time that could win a race, where in Carrera Cup, realistically, there's 10, 12, 15 drivers that could win a race at any point in the year. So it's just keeping that consistency up and turning up to tracks every time, 1 or 2 practice sessions, and having to roll into qualifying at the front.
Mate, I know you're busy. You've got to get the cans back on to help Lockie get through this session. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you very much.
When we say cans, we're referring to headphones there, by the way, too. Thank you. Well done, Stubbsy. Now, William Exton has set the quickest time just while that chat was unfolding. 29.81. First of our competitors into the 29s in this session. The Kiwis 1 and 2, he and Tom Bewley. Then it's Jake Santalucia, who briefly popped to the top of the order, and he's now gone fastest in the first sector. So it is game on here.
So this category in the championship, they'll do 2 runs in qualifying. They'll do this run, they'll pit, they've got a second set of tyres to throw on, and with track evolution, the times will continue to drop. So we're in qualifying in Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. Exton, Bewley and Santa Lucia, the top 3. Bloxham in 4th. Ramu Farrell on top in Pro-Am in 5th. Lodge, Robb, Greenbury, Murad and Kasha rounding out the top 10.
Love watching them crest this. Watching them crest that part of the hill there. Greenbury at the moment is down in 8th position.
So Jake Santalucia was decent lap, 30.2 to put him 3rd in the Sonic Motor Racing entry. This is Tyler Greenbury, who goes to 7th. Tyler Greenbury Racing expanding to 2 cars this year. Absolute karting legend in this part of the world, Rusty, and it's cool to see him expanding his own race team program away from karting, or expanding from karting into circuit racing as a pathway so he can keep his own drivers under his own roof.
We like that. 23. He blocks them there. So we go back into pit lane. Bit of activity happening there. We'll get some updates for you. So that's Tom Bewley there. Has come in for a little reset. Currently 2nd fastest, provisionally on the front row. David Gregg, who we were talking about before in the Dakin air conditioning entry, down at the moment in 22nd spot, but remember, no Friday running for him, so has got some laps on the board, as Richard said before, which was the all-important thing to do. His best so far is a 34.87, but the marker to beat in this qualifying right now, provisional pole, a 1 minute 29.81 to William Exton. He's the only driver at the moment in the 29s.
Yeah, great lap for the TechWorks racing driver. TechWorks have had good priors in both Carrera Cup Australia and in Michelin Sprint Challenge. They've got cars in Monochrome GT4 Australia as well. Zoe Woods running in that category with Nash Morris in a Porsche Cayman 718 Club Sport. Ben Taylor in the middle of shot here in the blue Auticon car, raising awareness and support for autism. And Ben's a very proud ambassador for that. Auticon has Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson, as one of their shareholders and stakeholders, and he actually attended the launch of young Ben's racing program last year, which was really cool to see. They've moved across to Wall Racing, David Wall's outfit this year, and stuck my head in and ticketed to Wally and Dave Fife and that very, very accomplished outfit that have had success in so many different categories, and they're really enjoying working with Ben, who's at a very early phase of his driving development in his career, but taking big steps forward every time he gets in the race car. And the other fact is he's got Fabian Coulthard on the headset as a driver mentor, and that's a pretty cool, calm, collected dude to have on your radio, talking you through your early phases of your career.
What a combination with Wall Racing too. So Sydney-based outfit with the presence, of course, in GT3 coming a little bit later today with Tony D'Alberto. Michelin, brand new Michelin tyres going on here. They've been a great partner of this series for so many years now, Richard, haven't they? They play such an important role.
Yeah, the team from Michelin were here yesterday. David Lang and Eb Doherty were here and enjoying their day out at the races, and they were delivering some swag to our Michelin juniors in Porsche racing as well. So they get a bunch of cool Michelin branded gear and a new front splitter going on Lockie Bloxham's car at McElrea Racing. There's a new set of tyres going on Tom Bewley's Duracell car on the Team Porsche New Zealand entry. Hello to all the Kiwis watching on from across the ditch. Population 5 and a bit million over there, and I think 4 million are watching all of the New Zealanders in here.
Did you say kia ora, Richard?
Kia ora.
We're at the halfway mark of this qualifying session. Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge season opener here at Phillip Island on a glorious day. A little bit of wind around, but the sun is out after some rain overnight, and we're seeing some pretty handy lap times at the moment. William Exton, a young Kiwi who recently wrapped up the New Zealand GT4 title and is with the TechWorks team, currently has the time to beat with a 29.81. But at the moment, you can tell here as we watching one of the very few cars on track. Most Richard Crail are back in the lane with a little reset happening here before they have another shot at trying to improve their lap times.
Just trying to get to the bottom of where Lockie's had a little off. They've put a new front splitter on the 23 car down there at McElrea. That's Timmy on the left front corner, bolting the new Michelin in. So it's a plastic strip that clips onto the bottom of the front bars on these cars, and they're designed to fold underneath and tear off basically if you have a little off-track excursion, to save the radiators and save the much larger front piece of the bodywork there. So Lockie's mainly possibly had a little run off the road, and that's torn that off. And I think they're doing the same on Ryan Cash's car down at DNA Autosport.
He's currently 5th in this session, so you're right, there it is coming off the front of the car. Relatively straightforward change for it, but it plays, you might look at it and think, well, you know, it's a very small piece of bodywork. How important is it? How effective is it? It makes all the difference in a close class like this, close one-make class.
Yeah, it's a significant amount of front downforce on the car. So when that disappears, it takes away front grip. The car's understeer. It means they don't turn into the corner as well. Scrubs the front tyres, overheats the front tyres. The cars lose performance. So they are a vital part. But it could be the difference in you spending a couple of $100 in a new one, or several thousands to put a front end back on the car if you have an off and it tears the front out of the car. So a little pause in the middle of these qualifying sessions. It's always interesting, the pacing of Porsche qualifying, where there's this peak of intensity at 12 or 13 minutes when they get to the end of their first run, and then everyone goes into pit lane at the same time. Everyone puts the second set of Michelin Pilot Sport tyres on the car, and then they all go out at the same time, and then it all peaks right at the very end on their second runs. And that's down a little bit as well to track evolution. As the track gets better, more rubber gets laid down, track temperature comes up, especially this morning, quite cool in this part of the world. So it takes some time to generate that tyre temperature. So here we go, the second run to decide the first pole sitter this year. Oscar Target was the king of qualifying in Michelin Sprint Challenge last year. Young Clay Osborne was quick, Brock Gilchrist was quick in qualifying. They've all moved up into Carrera Cups, 2 of them into Carrera Cup Oz. Brock Gilchrist coming off the back of a couple of podiums at the Grand Prix at Shanghai, which was an outstanding result for young Brock. I'm sure he's watching on.
Many people doing that across the ditch in New Zealand at the moment. So we start to get a bit of temperature in these tyres for a frantic, I would think, final 10 minutes of the session. Track and getting clear track position is going to be quite the job for some of these teams and drivers. McElroy Racing just ensuring that left front is torqued up on nice and tight.
Andrew Georgiadis in the Bondi Carpets, number 37 car, Sydney Sider in his second season of Michelin Sprint Challenge, had a really strong debut year. Now running with Jones Motorsport, one of those 3 cars that the Sunshine Coast-based outfit is running this season in Sprint Challenge. Hunter Robb's their pro driver. He's 9th at the moment and 2 Pro-Ams. Looking forward to seeing how they go. Ramu Farrell, who's one of the other Pro-Ams in that team, is currently 6th outright at a 1:30.8. Where is Georgiadis? He's only 22nd at the moment, a 34.85. He went way quicker than that yesterday. So yet to set a representative lap time in the 37 car as we build up to the second part of qualifying. But the drivers to watch, I think, the 2 Kiwis that are at the top at the moment. Oh, and there's been David Vallejo has had an off on the exit of the Southern Loop. And he's caught up on that big sawtooth curb on the inside. They're trying to find a gear or get the car refired, perhaps.
At slow speed like that, it just reminds you of how brutal they are. So
when the last thing anyone wants now is a red flag in this session, Rusty. So everyone's going to be a little bit nervous because they've just bolted tyres on and they've just started going into that warm-up phase of building the tyre up to a point where they can attack. And at this racetrack with this tyre in these cars, it's 2 laps, maybe 3, to build up before you can punch out that ultimate lap time. Stubbsy.
Special guest here, one of the busiest men at Phillip Island in Harry Jones, our Carrera Cup champion. Harry, you've got 3 cars out there at the moment. We're midway through the session. What are they reporting in general?
Yeah, they're very happy. All 3 cars are happy. Ramu had a great day yesterday. He was P1 outright as a Pro-Am. So, you know, we got fast cars here, which is great. We've got fast drivers. So looking forward to seeing what they can do in the back half of the session.
I know you do want to get back to your timing screens here, but in terms of supercars this year, you've been announced as being there in Team 18 with Anton. How much of an effect has that had on you so far? How much time have you been able to have with them yet?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Team 18, they've been an open door policy down there. So I'm learning so much from Anton and the whole team, the engineering crew. So yeah, I can't wait for the Enduro season in the back half of this year. But right now, focus is on getting the job done at Phillip Island.
I think that was a hint to wrap it up and let him get back to it. Thanks, Harry.
Thanks, guys.
he's got a trademark smile that never seems to disappear from his face, and lots of reasons to smile at the moment. So
he's a multi-talented young bloke, Harry Jones.
Don't you hate people like that?
Yeah, absolutely. But struggle to get out of bed in the morning. He's running 3 teams and forging a professional race car driver, and he's got 2 uni degrees, and he's a lovely bloke to boot.
To boot, yeah.
Yeah. It's very impressive to see the way he's built his racing program. So we're still building up. No colour on our timing screen yet, which means there's no personal best or fastest sectors so far. For reference, the quickest time so far at Willie Exton on top at a 29.81. Pole here last year was a 1:30.32 set by Oscar Target, and he was 2/10 quicker than Hamish Fitzsimmons, and then Clay Osborne was 3rd with Connor Summers for Sonic in 4th. So already quicker than last year's pole time, and a 29.8 is bordering on record territory for Sprint Challenge at this venue from a pole position point of view. So very quick this racetrack this morning, and that's important because all the monochrome GT4 and GT World Challenge powered by AWS teams will be watching this, because it is a representative lap time in a cup car relative to GT4 or GT3 machinery, which we're about to see.
we split up that fastest lap, you're watching William Exton on screen here at the moment, who has that provisional pole of a 29.81. He's been super quick in sectors 2 and 3. He's got the benchmark numbers in the second half of the lap, if you will. But actually the fastest first sector is Jake Santalucia, who's currently 3rd. So if he can stitch something together that's a little, and that's Exton, who's gone wide down there at Miller Corner, turn 4. So that'll need a little, just a little reset there and go again in the 42. But if Jake Santalucia can find something in that gap while we were paused there in the pit lane, in sectors 2 and 3, he may be able to challenge for that pole.
Jake missed this event last year, had a crash in testing before the start of the championship and couldn't get the car back together in time for round 1, which was a shame for young Jake. He's in his 2nd year with Sonic Motor Racing as Daniel Quimby crosses the line. He's one of our Michelin juniors, but running in the older spec car in Class B and 13th outright, 32.0 in that spec cup car. So very decent lap time.
He's only 16 years of age, I think, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's come out of Formula 4 in the USA, so come back to Australia to race. That's his teammate, Kamal Murad. Santalucia across the line, picks up some Dexion Victoria support this year. They've been notable in Carrera Cup racing with Dylan O'Keefe and Garth Walden Racing over the journey. Great to see them expand their support. Here's Lockie Bloxham, 4th at the moment for McElrea at a 1 minute 30.5. Probably won't be any improvement this lap, very slow middle sector. This is the start of a push lap for Lockie.
Not seeing the timing monitor light up just yet. 6 minutes remaining. Hold on. Have they done that trademark? Pull the belts a little bit tighter. Go harder for the final part of the lap. Around goes Patiacci, I think, is that in the 35. So down in 17th at the moment. Miller Corner, I think that was, turn 4. So yellow flag, understandably, as you can see there, is on display. That could affect some laps.
You have to demonstrate you have meaningfully slowed in the sector where the yellow flag is flying, or you will be penalised. So Bloxham hadn't set a personal best first sector anyway, so that's not going to compromise him too much. He's still building up. We're starting to see a little bit more energy now with 5 minutes to go. Hunter Robbs in the final sector on a very good lap in car number 69. He's looking to improve. Yeah, great lap, 30.7. Bloxham's got out of it on this lap, so find himself a little bit more racetrack, a little bit more space. Here's Santalucia in the 777. This won't be an improvement. It's a 30.6, but this will be a push lap now for the Sonic Motor Racing driver.
Good improvement for Hunter Robb, who comes out of New Zealand, another one who was a bit of a star in the 86 series and has been able to put something together to take part, be a part of this championship. It's Exton leading the way from Bewley, Santalucia, Bloxham, Hunter Robb, who we were just talking about, just ahead of Ryan Casher, Farrell, Lodge and Greenbury.
Here's Ramu Farrell. It's been shuffled down to 7th place. He starts a push lap. This is Eric Constantinides, who's jumped across to McElrea Racing this year. Bloxham starts a flyer. And then we go back a little bit and find young Rooney. So he's in 11th position at the moment. This is a personal best lap, and it's a 1 minute 31.67. So stays in 11th place at the moment. This was a very, very last minute deal to get aboard this car. It's the ex-Ronan Murphy car that Ronan raced in Michelin Sprint Challenge.
There's someone who'll know all the data inside out on that car.
He'll know what day and time it rolled out of the production line in Stuttgart.
Now, Exton's gone off again at Miller Corner. Sorry, Rich, to talk over you there. But in the meantime, Santalucia has done the best that we've seen in the middle part of the lap. So a few little things happening here, but Exton, your provisional pole sitter, who's clearly pushing, trying to improve the marker and safely keep himself on that pole position, has had a couple of wides down at turn 4.
I tell you what, Jake's lap was great, but he's going to rue the first sector. He gave away 0.4 of a second in the first sector of that lap to his own personal best and his 0.3 from pole. So it was a great second and third part of that lap for Jake. Couldn't complete though. It wasn't a complete lap. A 30.1 puts him third. He'll get another go at it. Let's follow the 777 down towards the timing intermediate here. About 27.5 seconds into the lap, and it's purple. Fastest of everyone, the Sonic car. Can he complete the lap this time? A little bit of traffic in front. That's Lockie Harburg. who's also on a lap.
Just going to say, I wonder if it was impacted by... Oh, locks a break at Siberia. That's not ideal. Presses on with it here. We'll keep an eye on the middle sector for you. I just wonder if the previous lap with Padiachi around at Miller Corner, yellow flags on display, perhaps he's observed and done the right thing, because we're now seeing again, he was quick in the first sector in the first part of qualifying, and he's lowered that marker. What's the middle part of the lap look like for Santa Lucia? Down. It's a 38.0. Best we've seen through there is a 37.7, 3/10 down.
Yeah, by Jake last lap. So he's dropped 3/10, but he's found 4.5 in the first sector. So if he can complete this lap, there should be some improvement. And he only needs to find 0.5 tenth to get himself on the front row of the grid.
What's the end of the lap look like? Is it good enough? It's not. It's not. It's a 30.17. And he stays third. Lighting up the monitor now is Bewley by the looks of it. Personal bests in sectors 1 and 2. What have we got? It just over a minute and a half to go.
And that'll be the best out of that tyre from Santa Lucia as well. So if he can get a third push lap out of it, I'll be very surprised. We're just waiting for Tom Bewley to come to the line. Watch for car number 4, because he is on a very good lap. Watch the timing totem. No, doesn't improve. Gave away a big chunk of time in the final sector for Team Porsche New Zealand and sits in second position. Willie Exton, despite a couple of mistakes in this session, holds on. And Jake Santa Lucia's got a long lap penalty down there at turn 4. He's off the road and on the escape road as well. Exton.
Here's Exton. I think Bewley may have come out of it. Now, he was good in that final sector, which is what's made Rich react there. So he's actually just done the best we've seen in the final sector. So let's see if Exton can somehow, what is it, a 28.819, so 29 rather, 819.
We're yet to see anyone actually string a full lap together, Rusty. And I wonder if these blustery conditions today are perhaps affecting that. These cars can be quite sensitive to a crosswind. Exton's going on with it too. Personal best first sector, bumps Santa Lucia. Well, Jake's still quicker than him in that sector, but remember, Jake hasn't been able to complete a full lap, nailing all 3 sectors. Exton already on provisional pole by almost 0.3 of a second. Could this be a lap that locks him in on top for the first pole award last year? And there are priors. TechWorks Motorsport was second on the grid here 12 months ago with Hamish Fitzsimmons. So their package is very good at Phillip Island, and Exton is doing the business at the moment. Big queue of traffic, but they're all good cars and they're all doing a really nice job. Well done, Bewley, getting right out of the way of his cuz from New Zealand. And he's still up overall, Rusty. Oh, how is the slide? Out of turn 11. Will he complete this lap? Will this lock him into pole?
Oh, I wonder, he's rolled out of it, I think, has he? Traffic's become a factor there. So the message may have been that Bewley had rolled out of it as well, so we don't need to worry so much about it. The lap is a 31.10. And what did we lose in that final sector? In the order of 1.5 seconds, I suppose, didn't he? So it looks like William Exton has provisional or pole position with the clock having counted out for the opening round of the championship.
Well done, Willie Exton. Recently wrapped up the GT4 New Zealand Championship as part of Somerset GTNZ. Really impressive young bloke who has a great attitude and a great approach to life. Really looking forward to having him as part of the championship this year. So, super lap, Willie Exton, pole position for the opening round of Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge Australia. A 1 minute 29.81. Any lap under the 30s here in a Cup car is going very, very well. Tom Bewley second, Kiwis lock out the front row. Jake Santa Lucia in third for Sonic Motor Racing. Ryan Casher from fourth, and then Tyler Greenbury and Lockie Bloxham out of sixth. The margins are pretty tight though. Hunter Robb in seventh, James Lodge eighth, Ramu Farrell in ninth, and Kamal Murad on debut, outstanding performance for Cup Car Engineering in 10th place. Farrell on pole in Pro-Am, Lockie Harburg, the defending champion, second in that class, and Daniel Quimby 13th outright and pole position in Class B. Great stuff in Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. Willie Exton for TechWorks on pole for the first round of the year. Stick around for the Shannon Speed Series though, so much more to come. Monochrome GT4 and GT World Challenge powered by AWS coming your way next.